Okay, so we're getting really near the end of the butterfly lion now. So if you remember, the lion grew old living with Bertie and his wife, and when the lion died, they made a white line in the hillside out of the white stone that was under the earth, and blue butterflies come and land on it because they like the white. That's why it looks like a blue shimmering lion when you look out the window, because it's got all the blue butterflies sat on it. Okay, so let's see what happens next in the book. The old lady turned to me and smiled. "There," she said, "that's my story." "But what about Bertie?" I knew as I asked that I shouldn't have, but I had to know. "He's dead, dear," the old lady replied. "It's what happens when you get old. It's nothing to worry about. It's lonely, though. That's why I've got Jack." Jack's the dog. "And Bertie, like his lion, lived on to a good age. He's buried out there under the hill beside the White Prince." She looked back at the hill for a moment. "And that's where I belong too," she said. She tapped the table with her fingers. "Come on, time to go. Back to school with you before they miss you and you get yourself into trouble. We wouldn't want that, would we? Do you know, that's what I told Bertie all those years ago when he ran away from school. You remember?" She was on her feet now. "Come on, I'll drive you. And don't look so worried. I'll make sure no one sees you. It'll be like you've never been gone." "Can I come again?" I asked. "Of course you can," she said. "I may not always be easy to find, but I'll be here. I'll just tidy away the tea things and then we'll go, shall we?" It was a very old-fashioned car, black and upright and dignified, with a leathery smell and a whiny engine. She dropped me at the bottom of the school park by the fence. "Take care, dear," she said, "and be sure you come again soon, won't you? I'll be expecting you." "I will," I replied. I climbed the fence before I turned to wave, but by that time the car had gone. To my huge relief, no one had missed me, and best of all, Basher Beaumont was in the sick room. He'd gone down with measles. I just hoped his measles would last a very long time. All through supper, I could think of nothing but Bertie Andrews and his white lion. Stew and dumplings, and then semolina pudding with raspberry jam again. It was as I was picking my way through my slimy semolina that I remembered Bertie Andrews had been at this school. Maybe, I thought, maybe he had to sit here and eat slimy semolina just as we do now. I looked up at the honours boards around the dining hall, at the names of all the boys who had won scholarships over the years. I looked for Bertie Andrews. He wasn't there, but then I thought, why should he be? Maybe, like me, he wasn't brilliant at his schoolwork. Not everyone wins scholarships. Cookie, Mr. Cook, my history teacher, was sitting beside me at the end of my table. "Who were you looking for, Morpurgo?" he asked suddenly. "Andrews, sir," I said. "Bertie Andrews." Andrews. "There's an Albert Andrews who won the Victoria Cross in the First World War. Do you mean him?" Cookie scraped his bowl keen and licked the back of his spoon. "I love raspberry jam. You'll find his name in the chapel, under the east window, under the war memorial. But he wasn't killed in the war, you know. He lived down at Strawbridge, that place with the lion on the gateway, just across from the main road. He died maybe 10-12 years ago, soon after I came to teach here. The only old boy ever to win the VC. That's why they put up a memorial plaque to him in the chapel after he died. I remember the day his wife came to unveil it, his widow, I should say. Poor dear, just herself and the dog in that great place. She died only a few months later. Broken heart, they say. You can, you know. You can die of a broken heart." That's funny, that's the lady who he's been talking to that he's talking about. "That house has been empty ever since. No family to take it on. Nobody wants it. Too big, you see. Shame." I said I wanted to be excused to go to the toilet. I hurtled down the passage, out across the courtyard and into the chapel. The small brass plaque was exactly where Cookie had said it was, but hidden by a vase of flowers. I moved the vase to one side. The plaque read, "Albert Andrews, VC, born 1897, died 1968, an old boy of this school, and the lion shall lie down with the lamb." All night long I tried to puzzle it out. Cookie was wrong. He just had to be. I never slept a wink. Okay, I think we've got time for the next chapter. The next afternoon, after games were over, I went over the fence at the bottom of the park, hared up through the Innocents' Breach, across the road, along the wall, and slipped through the iron gateway with the stone lion roaring above me. It was raining, a light summer rain. I tried knocking at the front door, but no one came. No dog barked. I went round the back and peered in through the kitchen window. The box kite was still there on the kitchen table, but there was no sign of the old lady anywhere. I rattled the kitchen door and I knocked louder, again and again. I called out, "Hello? Hello?" There was no reply. I banged on the window. "Are you there? Are you there?" "We all are," came a voice from behind me. I turned, and there was no one there. I was alone with the white line on the hillside. I had imagined it. I climbed the hill and went to sit in the grass above the white of the lion's mane. I looked down at the great house beneath me. The jackdaws cawed overhead. There was bracken and grass growing out of the gutters and around the chimney pots. Some of the windows were boarded up. Drain pipes hung loose and rusting. The place was empty, quite empty. The rain suddenly stopped and the sun warmed the back of my neck. The first butterfly landed on my arm. It was blue. Adonis blues. Adonis blues, came the voice again, like an echo in my head. Then the sky around me was filled with butterflies, and they were settling to drink on the chalk. Adonis blues, remember? The same voice, a real voice, her voice. And this time I knew it was not in my head. "Keep him white for us, there's a dear. We don't want him forgotten, you see. And think of us sometimes, won't you?" "I will," I cried, "I will." And I swear I felt the earth tremble beneath me with the roar of a distant lion. So, that was the end of the book. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. The Butterfly Lion. Okay.